What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. I'm Lawrence. We got Jack, we got Chris, we got Rich, and today, we're talking about two episodes of an anime slash animated series. We're talking about My Adventures with Superman. Let me give you the spoiler-free synopsis on this here IMDb, and then we'll jump in with our spoiler-free thoughts, and then we'll do a deep dive. Clark Kent builds his secret Superman identity and embraces his role as the hero of Metropolis while sharing adventures and falling in love with Lois, a star investigative journalist who also takes Jimmy Olsen under her wing. Not exactly true,
Right.
but can be. The heart of it's true. Um, I'll go first, man. I thought this was charming and delightful than a mug. It's not without its faults, but I thought this was pretty great. This and Superman and Lois is the best depiction of the character of Superman, including Clark Kent, than we've ever gotten.
And that's
Ever.
exactly why I'm not going to watch it anymore.
I hate you,
It
Rich.
is
I hate
absolutely
you.
duty. Like what?
I hate you, Rich.
I did not like this at
See,
all.
Rich is one of them guys that think like Injustice Superman is the canon one,
I
not the
was so,
Elseworlds one.
I was
See,
looking
I
at this thing.
figured.
I'm like, why does this look familiar? And I was like, yo, it looks like Spy Girls. That
No, it
spy
does not. It
cartoon.
looks like
Yeah, it does.
Invincible. It looks
It
like
looks like Spy Girls. It's like exactly what's going on in here. There's a bunch of Spy Girls, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Oh wait, we're not spoiling it right now, right?
no, we're not,
Anyway,
Rich.
I
But you
didn't like it that
spoiled
much.
my dinner. You spoiled my appetite. You spoiled my. Dang it. Well, I liked it a lot. I thought it was charming and delightful, and like I said, the best depiction of the character of Superman and Clark Kent to date.
Well, I'll go next. I'll tell you what. It's not without its flaws, and where the flaws stick out for me are where they really arbitrarily change certain facts and depictions. And I won't go into detail, but those were things where I was like, "Huh, well,
Mm,
why'd they do that?"
yeah.
Like, I didn't get it. Not spoiler, kinda. It's in the first seconds of the first episode, but like Jor-El flying makes no sense, And so like they're weird things that
Jarrell, it's a
Jor-El,
hologram.
his father, yeah, but
It's
he's
like
flying.
AI.
But
It's
his
AI.
father's flying with a cape flapping in the wind. His father didn't fly. His father's from Krypton. He doesn't have power. So spoiler free, anyways. Though there were weird depictions like that caught me off. Like, why would you do that? Listen, I'm a purist. I like my Superman. Now, what I did like, completely agree with Lawrence. The Clark Kent side of this guy is they managed to capture it. Like they actually captured that right. The anime style of it took me a minute to get into, though. So I was like, oh, that's interesting because it's very how do you say it's very cute, with the blush and stuff like that. I
Mm.
liked it though. Spoiler free. I liked it, and I'm definitely be jumping into it, but I needed a transition moment to actually get into the tone of how they're telling this version. It is anime, and it has a lot of anime tropes. The way it's drawn and the acting and the moments, it's cut together like an anime.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm surprised you didn't like it, Rich. It is very anime-esque.
Nah, it's totally spy esque. Totally spies.
I'm done.
I felt
Chris?
the
You can
anime.
be done.
Yeah, I liked it. I agree with Lawrence. I thought it was charming. I thought it was.
Shut up, Chris.
I did like it.
Just shut up.
No.
All right.
Rich is like, you don't like any anime. In this
Shut your
first
mouth.
thing, you
All right.
second to
What?
like you choose to
Well,
like anime.
what I am going to say about the anime is, I feel like they're doing the anime almost half-assed, right? So I feel like some of the anime tropes that they had, like sometimes when the glasses would go like opaque and you see the reflection or the blushing thing, or the typical things that they do with anime, it almost felt out of place. It's like, okay, I get you're an anime style, but it's not really an anime. But then they're doing these anime things. And it's like, what tone are you going after? And that was the problem I had with it, with the animation. But besides that, I thought it was a good time. I'll watch it. I liked it, and kind of brought me back to Diniverse stuff, and I enjoy that stuff. So I'm with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
We lost
okay.
Jack, but I'm sure he'll be right back. Rich, You don't got to tilt your head the old time we talking about liking this.
Because this man is talking about anime trope. I'm like, what's the last anime you watched, sir?
I
Dragon
watched
Ball
anime like
Z.
Dragon
How
Ball
many
Z like 3
animes have
weeks
you
ago.
watched that you can compare tropes to? Dragon Ball Z is your only reference point.
No, I watched more. I watched Robotech, and I watched Yu Yu Hakusho, and I watched One Piece, and I watched what else was on Fox?
He watched one episode of One Piece.
Yeah,
He
One
ain't
Piece
watch
was
anything
terrible.
in completion.
I hated One Piece. That show was terrible.
All right, so let's jump into the recap and we'll stop and go here. So, what I love about this is they're kind of doing something similar that the 1980s Superman cartoon did, which is giving us flashbacks to when Clark was a kid. So, where it's not a full origin that we're seeing like this whole time of his youth. We're going back to when we need to. And we see Clark wearing the t-shirt. You know that t-shirt? He had that S. You know that S you drew on your
Yes, that's
notebook?
everyone drew in their notebooks.
With the 3 lines. He had that
Yeah.
S on it, which was a nice throwback. If you know, I don't know if they're doing it now, but from my childhood. And Clark is trying to get this kite out the tree. He's trying to jump and get it, which leads me to believe that he does have some access to his powers. He doesn't have much control. I feel like he's jumped high before, or else why is he trying to do that now? Jackie Boy is back. Hold on.
Well, didn't he
It's
always have access to his powers? Like when he was younger, he just had limited access.
No, well, it depends. There's been so many. Well, it's interesting you said that. James Gunn has recently said that he doesn't need to do the origin of Superman in his movie because we've all seen it, but he's actually wrong. Superman has had so many different but similar origin stories. It's kind of important. Sometimes he had his powers when he was a baby. Sometimes he didn't get them until he was 14. Sometimes he only had a partial powers when he was a kid and didn't manifest all of them until he was well into his teen years. So it's really important to see like what does he have and when does he have it, because that changes all the time.
And sometimes he enjoys his power, and sometimes Zack Snyder films it.
So Jack, so we're at the beginning of this, and I was telling them that in my opinion, I think Clark has some access to his powers, or else he wouldn't be trying to jump and get the kite. But he doesn't have full control, and he hasn't flown yet, obviously. But he's trying to jump. He sees this car's going by, about to hit a speed bump, and he's trying to yell at her stop, and she's trying to feed her baby. Deal with driving.
Ridiculous. Like I'm gonna drift around this corner while trying to shove a bottle in my baby's mouth in the back
Rich,
seat.
you
What
do
are we
not
talking
know
about?
what sleep deprivation does. You make crazy choices.
Yep.
You be surprised what you're doing on that road with a screaming baby. If you could like take a bird's eye view, you'd be like, I'm out of my mind. That part was like, I felt her pain. Clark sees the car going, and it's almost like when his instincts kick in, he gets full access to his powers. And this is anime, so there's part of it that's going to be more fin.
There it
Hey,
is.
yo, someone's got too much power.
I really hate the fact that Rich has this. So how do I take this off my screen? Rich, I hate the fact that you have this much power. I hate that. Why do we give them this much power? But anyways, so he speeds after the car. His eyes light up blue, which is kind of showing us when he gains access to like.
Yeah, it's weird though, because why has he got electricity?
Are they doing it, or they made the S like remember when they had the blue Superman, the red Superman, stuff like that?
Yeah,
They made the S electricity look just like that.
But I don't take it as electricity. Like Superman's powers of all.
Why does his dad got a laser patch eye?
Why not? Like, okay, Jack, you know that there is no such thing as a true depiction of Jor-El. He's either all white, wear like Marlon Brando, or he's a freaking Viking like Russell Crowe, or he's dressed in some weird green outfit like in the Silver Age comics, or he's wearing a straight up Superman S like he does in the new comics. Like they change all the time.
I have so much respect for your Superman knowledge base. It's come so far in the last 20 years. Lawrence.
Jack, you only know Christopher Reeve Superman movies, and you base everything off of that one thing. Because in that case, Superman the animated series looks nothing like we've seen before, but you accept it, right? Lois and Clark showed blue come out of his eyes when he used X-ray vision. Smallville never showed that, neither did Christopher Reeve, but we accept it. So I'm saying, come into this the same way we've accepted other visual interpretations. And here, the artists want to. So I don't think anyone else sees blue come out of his eyes or blue go around him. I think as an audience, we get to. So as an audience, we get to see how his powers.
They're letting us in.
They're letting us in. So that's for me. That's okay. Now, if everyone saw electricity come out of him, I'd be like, well, that's too far. But
yeah, and then your eyes go white, you shoot like little sparks out of them, and then you're really strong.
Yeah, So then he stops the car.
Yeah.
He's like, wow. And then he goes to the kite. And I know this, Jack, I know this is your freaking favorite part. This is what you've been missing in all the
Dude,
Snyder stuff.
I'm waiting to see this in any film. Well, now I will say, what's his
The
name?
one of the worst Superman movies.
Yes.
Did, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Superman
You actually
Returns.
see, but the flying in this, I will say this. The action in this looks good especially for this kind of content. Like seeing him fly and seeing the way he's interacting with the villains in the content is engaging.
And his flying, a lot of times people want to make Superman fly with so much power, so much ferociousness, and
He's elegant.
to see this kid it's graceful. He's like
graceful.
Yeah, it's like breathing, and he doesn't fall out.
I kind of like when they take off and like he kind of leaves a little bit of a crater or shoots up dust.
I'm sure you're gonna get that.
You're probably gonna get that.
Now
you kind of got it.
He gets his powers. We're seeing like a half-powered version of like a quarter-power version of Superman up until a certain point.
But Superman in the comics, him flying was never like a rocket that pounces out of him, that he propels himself with so much force.
That depends on which comic you're looking at.
Most comics, he does. Well, he flies like you walk. Like he doesn't need to like create a crater to get speed. He
doesn't need to. He's just a jerk sometimes.
Well, in the Snyder movies, but most of the time in comic books, he's not invincible. The ground doesn't shake when he takes off. So, but it could, but usually it doesn't. Superman flies, and then we see Clark Kent. We see Clark Kent waking up bunk beds like you and Prince Adam, Chris, bunk beds.
Yep.
With Jimmy Olsen.
Which I like about this is the fact that he's now what, early 20s, maybe?
Yep.
Like 25.
And he can't control his power still? Like he's still having like hormone growth spurts?
Well, also Jimmy's his age.
That's
Jimmy's
hashtag not my Jimmy.
Hashtag not my Jimmy.
But like, okay, you can't be a purist with this content. There's no Superman content.
But I tell you what I like.
Pure.
I like the group dynamic. I like Lois. I like the group dynamic.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if him and Jimmy are the same age. Him and Jimmy weren't. He wasn't like a father figure. Like they're friends. He could be at least 3 years older than Jimmy. He could be 28. Jimmy could be 24. He's just a photographer. He didn't go to journalism school or nothing like that. So they wake up. You see, and yes, Rich. Mm-hmm. What I like about this is it's not that he isn't as strong as he will be. It's that he hasn't had the opportunities to have to flex. Like, helping.
It's Superman year one.
Yeah, he's been doing stuff around the farm. He might have lifted up a car and stuff, but until he has to fight a giant robot, he never needed to like see what his limits are or push past.
I'm not talking about his limits. Like he's there breaking the faucet and ripping his shoes, and
that happens to me all the time.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Stop it.
I actually like that. I like coming into a Clark. I like watching. I want to be on the journey to see him figure it out.
But he should have figured that part out already. Like he's already gone through that part.
But I think
on the farm during school.
But maybe it's something that never goes away. Like the world is paper all the time. And the second he doesn't think about it, he does break something.
Well, the irony of it is in the scenes and the scenes that follow, he's literally doing just a normal guy having a normal day, just a normal, and then something's constantly bombarding him where he has to be heroic, right? And then he goes back to just a normal guy having.
Let me ask you a question though: if someone is next to you and then all of a sudden travels at supersonic speed, you're not gonna take notice of that. You're not gonna be like, "Oh, wow, that was a crazy breeze." Like,
right?
It's kind of weird that's his like stealth method is just to be standing in the middle of a group of people and just go whoosh, and no one's like, "What the heck just happened?"
But that's the anime. That's the anime trope of it, where you get away with this stuff. It's in the way the content's depicted.
Everyone is super innocent and super naive. There's a naivete. What I do enjoy about those things that you don't like, Rich, is that by him kind of being so overpowered, he has to be careful, naturally makes him sort of a klutz. And since he's so kind and good-hearted, he naturally comes off like a geek. So his Clark Kent persona is just built in with him, that he doesn't have to all of a sudden become a bumbling goof. He's trying not to rip the door off.
I'll tell you what I didn't understand, though. Why was he wearing glasses as a kid?
he's that way in the comics sometimes. In the comics, often they'll put glasses on him, and sometimes it'll be like change the shade of blue your eyes are in one comic. The next one is, I think, it's just him and his parents' way of like making him look as weak as possible.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, like, you're normal. You wear glasses. Anything, you're not exceptional. Let's just dumb it down. And Lois and Clark, he had glasses on before he became Superman. It's always been a question every now and then when they do that. And in Superman Returns, he had glasses on as a kid before he flew. I'm like, why they do that? I don't know why, but it's been across content.
Cross it all over.
He eats 30 boxes of donuts like Dean Cain, though, which is freaking great. Because if
Yeah,
you could be ripped all the time, why the heck wouldn't you?
He wears a bib too when he does it.
Rich, I wear a bib when I do it. Stop judging me.
How's this guy that got that much money though?
It's donuts.
30
30
boxes of
a dozen donuts.
Yeah, so
$30
$30
pricey if you got a roommate. What are we talking about right now?
Yeah,
that man's barely making minimum wage.
Thank you.
And this is your
He
friend.
doesn't even
Lawrence.
have a job.
Remember, guys, he's Superman. This might be he doesn't need to eat. This might be all he eats. It's just donuts and ramen noodles. He doesn't need to actually eat food.
I'll be eating caviar in the castle.
I'll be eating donuts with Clark wondering why he's not getting fat and I am.
Right.
For those that don't understand what we're saying, this was a part of our debate. Go listen to our podcast if you're watching this on YouTube. So then we see, he bumps into Lois Lane. It's freaking cute. They have a really great moment here. I enjoyed it. Nice exchange. This is Jimmy and Clark's first day interning at the Daily Planet. Lois has been called into the Daily Planet because she doesn't know why, but she's an intern. She's thinking like, Perry's going to give you my shot at the story. Little does she know, she gets to the Daily Planet. She was called in so she can like teach the interns as head intern, which is interesting. And Perry White, Rich, he's black. He's a black man, Rich.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was an intern, so he don't
get
paid nothing.
He
broke.
He broke. That's why he donuts all day long. Jimmy's black as well. I like Jimmy being black. Okay.
Is he black?
Yeah.
He's brown.
Of course he is. And Lois is, I would say, of Asian descent.
I think the voice actress is Asian, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's Asian.
Jimmy being black is cool because y'all know Donald Glover. He talked about wanting to be Peter Parker, which kind of started the whole Miles Morales thing. He did an interview saying that all the racist comments didn't bother him. There's one comment that bothered him when somebody was like, "Are you kidding me? It's not realistic. Everything about Peter Parker has to be white. You're wrong." And he said, that bothered me. You telling me a kid from New York who loves photography and science can't be black? He's like, that part bothered me. So to see a black Jimmy Olsen who loves photography, who's into science fiction, I'm like, he's us. When there was he's who I was as a kid, but there was no one else being that artsy and into science fiction. So it's cool to see Jimmy black. I know people are probably mad, but nobody cares about Jimmy Olsen anyway, except Jack.
And
DiCaprio's not playing this one. But so they're at the Daily Planet. Lois is convinced that there's something going on at the yards, the blah blah blah. Some bad stuff is happening. And robots. She said robots from the beginning. It's robots.
Yeah, military robots.
Yeah. Military robots. Perry's like, get out of here. You're an intern. Stop. Please stop. Then Lois pretty much lies to Jimmy and Clark saying, like, we got his blessing to go investigate it. They wind up going and they go to the shipping yard, they go to the warehouse, and that's where Lois ignores Perry's calls. Perry calls Clark and is like, Lois is lying to you. Bring your bus. He has an investment. He has an interesting investment into these interns. That part, that's the part I couldn't get around.
I mean,
he has a lot. Yes, Rich.
Okay.
He's the boss, and he cares about the lowest people in total.
He has investigative journalists. He has all these other things he's dealing with, but the interns is who he's making house calls to. That was interesting. But yes, Rich, they're investigators, so they're trying to figure out what's going on.
They're not. They're interns.
Well, Lois thinks she's an investigator, so she's trying to figure out what's going on. Trying to find her story.
Make it.
Gotta fake it till you make it, man.
Fake it till you make it for $3.99. Put your life in danger.
Put your life on the line for $3.99.
Yeah.
So Clark gets upset with Lois because, like, you lied to us, and Clark's all about doing the truth, showcasing that Boy Scout effortlessly. Like, and it's pretty amazing to see just Superman is who he is, not who he has to become. So he leaves her. She's still like, we got to find this thing. Jimmy Olsen's just, he's down for whatever. Jimmy's just down. He's that friend you need by your side.
Yeah.
It's just, yo, I'll rock with you. He Jack is back. It's like that. Remember the town? That scene in the town?
Yes, he's like, you can't ask me about it. We got to go hurt somebody, and he was just down.
Yeah, you remember that, Rich? Freaking Ben Affleck's like, gotta hurt somebody. I need you to come with me. Can't ask any questions.
Yeah.
Who's driving? Like, that's Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen's just like, let's go. So they get to the shipping yard. They get in trouble. The robots are there. They get in trouble. Freaking little girl. There's like a bunch of little newsies around here, too, who make their homemade newspaper. She bumps into Clark, says Lois is in trouble. Clark just goes. That's what he's talking about. That Ninja Vanish stuff in front of her. He goes to the shipping yard, sees they're in trouble. And what I like about this is that he does do things that don't make sense. He's not thinking about, I got to keep my powers a secret. He's like, my friends are in trouble. I got to go. I'll figure the rest out later.
Right.
I got to go. It's his instincts are just to go.
Mm-hmm.
He goes and he gets knocked out. He gets backslapped by this. He gets backhanded by the robot Rich.
Yeah.
Like
pimp slapped. Yeah.
Like he didn't owe the robot money. He owes the robot some money.
Yep.
And he got the backhand.
You better pay the rent.
He got the strong hand.
Yeah.
He does get the idea that I need to cover up. So he grabs like freaking, what is it, like dockyard gear?
Yeah. He goes.
I'm going to say that is flame retardant, like maybe like fire protection, because when he got blasted by that laser and nothing came off of him, I'm just
it probably was. It did look like fireman gear,
like a Tyvek suit with like high vis straps on it, like
probably was layered in colostrum with
colostrum. Colostrum is the stuff that comes out before breast milk. What are you talking about?
Any of that is okay.
That's what women make before they make breast milk. It's colostrum.
I thought you were just saying words, so I was just gonna say words too.
My words made sense. My words.
No, we just don't know if you're wrong because we're not that smart. You can be saying some crazy stuff too, Chris.
And this is not even that smart. He just says things so confidently. We don't even know if he's lying. Like,
that's how I live my life, Rich. Lead with confidence. Figure it out.
That's true.
Well, Chris lives his life that way too. So he fights these robots and he goes in and it's effortful. But this is probably his first fight ever in life, and he's fighting.
That he's not actually powered up.
He doesn't know what powered up is yet.
Well, but he's also getting bruised though, which is the odd thing about it. He's literally got a black eye and he can't even stand up. But then his powers kick in
when
at full force.
Well, what's interesting is he's fighting that robot and he's getting the crap kicked. He fights the first one. It's tough. It's the other one that he was getting his butt kicked, and then Lois tries to go and save him by stopping all these other robots from coming. Right. It's when she gets in danger.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Rich? That is Lois Lane.
Stupid. I'm sorry.
You just hate Superman.
You deactivated the robots simply by touching the pad. Like what kind of military? What kind of military equipment is this?
He's not wrong. It was kind of lame, but it was also kind of like, okay. So jump. All devices are over.
And can we talk about the Skynet portion of this? Because the robots were definitely aware of what she was doing. Like, wait a minute, she's about to shut us off. We can't have that. And just focus attention to her.
Right. But she was the immediate threat.
Dangerous.
Well, we don't know where these robots came from. And if you're a Superman fan, you might have an idea where you think they're from. And I don't know if they're Earthbound. So they might be
the lady who had the robots, she was talking about how they were having trouble controlling the robots in the first place.
Right. Well, I know these are from Apocalypse.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought this was Intergang.
I think this is a version of that.
But they said they're military robots, so they're not from Apocalypse.
But when Superman touched the back of that thing, he kind of got a vision, and it looked like Apocalypse was coming.
Yeah, it has to be Intergang.
So I don't. We'll see. But so yes, Lois is in danger, and that's when his instincts kick in, and all of a sudden his powers go freaking. He's Super Saiyan. He goes Super Saiyan, kinda, and his body. Yes, Rich, he does go Super Saiyan.
Okay.
His eyes light up for the audience, I imagine, and like you don't even see him take off. He moves so fast. He saves Lois Lane. Dope freaking shot of him in the sky, looking at his hands like, who am I? Like,
Yep.
what the
Yeah.
heck? And Jack, man, we love the Reeves movies, but we never get this moment of him looking at his own hands like, what did I just do?
I agree. Listen, his father's alive. It's the dynamic I like. And him learn his powers and enjoy his powers, which is the Superman I like.
Right.
It's good content, man. Now, whether you're not into the anime style and whether it's a little too kiddie for you, that might be a fair argument to make. But it's good Superman content.
Rich, this doesn't make too much less sense than My Hero Academia, right?
First of
Like
all,
as they're fighting bad guys,
you
they
watch
care
your
about their
damn
talent
mouth.
show.
You
They're like, we
watch
have a school
your
festival to get back to.
damn
The city's being
mouth.
destroyed, but I worked on this
Watch
song.
your damn mouth when you talk to me, okay?
Listen, you know I love My Hero Academia, but you can't talk about the credibility and the realism of this and then watch that and go, they was trying to get back to that school festival that bad as they almost died. They just cared
they're
about
a
they sang their
bunch of
song.
teenagers, and they need
But-
to show the rest of the school who they are. All right.
But this show is also not geared for adults. This show is clearly geared for children.
It's like Avatar to me. It's
Yeah,
like that
it's
middle,
geared for
that
like
middle
young
ground.
tween. Like
Yeah.
like young tween.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like even the image quality. It's not Invincible. Invincible has a far cleaner
No.
line stroke. You know.
I think this is cleaner than Invincible. This animation is cleaner than
Really?
Invincible. Yeah, go back and watch Invincible. It's newer, and they spared no expense. Invincible's subject matter is more adult and mature for sure, but like it's clean. Invincible, I don't think would work if it was this clean. It needs to be a little
That's interesting.
little something.
Needs to have some texture, right, Jack?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm gonna preface. If I get kicked off again, it's because it's 102 degrees here, and my devices are just kind of overheating.
Oh,
Jack, you can turn on the AC, man.
Just turn it on, Jack.
Just turn on
Alright.
the AC.
Nah, I won't
Mute
do
your-
it. I won't
Just
suffer.
mute. Just mute yourself when you're not
suffer the
talking.
sound.
Just mute yourself. Don't suffer. But so basically that happens, and we get these flashbacks. We got a flashback the part that Jack has an issue with the ship. As a kid, he's trying to find out who he is. It lights up. Well, first off, it lights up, and then his parents almost die. He saves them. He doesn't want anything to do with that. That thing in the second episode, I can't remember where it comes up, so I'll just talk about it now. He winds up going back. He's interested in who he is.
Yeah,
Right at the top of the second.
that's how the second episode opens up.
Opens up. He goes there, and we see Jarrell with the eye patch, which is very interesting. Very more rugged than the Russell Crowe version.
But also,
Yeah.
he dug up the ship or whatever it is in the cornfield, and he said, "Did it get bigger?" So it's been growing this whole time.
Because that is, we saw what he flew to Earth in.
Yeah.
So, which kind of plays into like the Reeves movies where the crystal can grow. So this is technology that maybe can expand over time to give him a base, a home base. What I like about this is Jarrell speaks Krypton, and no one knows what he's saying, including Clark. It's not like
Nope.
that.
He does say Kal-El. We hear Kim's call him Kal-El.
Yeah,
Right.
over,
But there's always that trope of something happens to you. And
Yeah, I was agreeing with Chris. He says Kal-El a dozen times in the first episode.
Yeah. And the second one, he still doesn't know what he's saying, which is great. It's like, because the trope is always something beams in your head and you can understand this language. And it's like, what if you can't? What if you have no idea what this thing is saying? But you pretty much through the images understand, is that me as a baby? Did you take me for my mom? Or you're my dad? Like he starts putting it together from what he sees, but not from what he hears. And I didn't really take it that Jarrell was flying. I just took it like it was a creative way to show the AI and him communicating. Like I didn't take it as literal. They're in the air flying together. I took it as just like being in the Matrix.
He looks like Papa Superman in episode 1. In episode 2, he's standing on ground. In episode 1, he is hovering 6 feet in the air with his cape flopping around. And it's the CGI cape. Why is his cape flopping? Like, there's a lot of logistical things. They're showing him hover, and his legs are like.
It's a hologram.
His legs are like doing the hovering Superman thing.
It's a hologram.
You know,
hologram. They could do what they
It's a
want.
hologram.
Okay. All right. But that hologram image would be like, I don't know. I got questions about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't like it, but I'm saying, isn't the whole point he's not supposed to?
The hologram can do whatever it wants.
Do whatever.
Apparently,
have you seen Drake's hologram recently?
Have you seen
the
Drake's
hologram?
hologram?
Do everything he wants.
Was it a hologram? No, I think they just like imposed his face on a dude that he hired.
Oh, they're the deep fake.
It was.
We digress, Rich. We digress.
We digress. Let's bring this on back. Yeah.
So he goes and he pretty much gets his costume. And yo, if you don't like it, I understand. I don't know how I felt about it, but it was straight up Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon.
But it was on purpose. As long as it's on purpose, I can rock with it. And it was on purpose. And I don't think that's the way he's going to change from here on out. I think that's just the way he got his suit for the first time.
Yeah.
And I like that his mom was like, it was no.
I mean,
it was not. I mean, if you look at it, Prince Adam changing to He-Man in that last Netflix series was Sailor Moon too.
Yeah.
He's ripping clothes off.
Anime inspired.
Yeah.
And then his mom is like, you need to break up the blue, which is like what fans talk about when they see this costume with no trunks. Is just too much blue. So he puts on them drawers and a belt. I don't like Jonathan Kent here. He's very like, oh, I gotta go.
I mean, he wasn't there like the whole time, right? So, you know, I gotta go. Can't be.
Gotta go. It felt like that thing of they want to make his relationship with his mom really important. So instead of just keeping his relationship with his dad important and making the mother more important, they just get the dad out of there and he doesn't say anything.
Make him look like an absentee father. Got it.
Father could
I can't handle conflict. I need to leave.
He's just there working, providing.
Gotta go to work.
So that was kind of lame. They could have found a way to give him a personality, even if he's the one that has a hard time with it and he's afraid he's going to lose his son and he can't take it. But just give me something. Don't just give me like, "Oops, I gotta go." It was kind of weird.
Bye.
He said, "Bye." So he's wearing the costume and he's like, "Do you think people will recognize me?" And she's like, "I barely recognize you," and that's real. That is real. That's real. That's real. That's the realest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's the realest.
And I've seen a lot of real stuff. That's the realest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
No
but
way.
they at least gave the audience plausible deniability. Put it right out there in the open, in the front, and said, now you get to pick and choose. You know? I was showing my dad a film I made, and we watched it, and then he turns to me and he goes, I thought you were in it. I was like, Pop, that was me in the park scene. I was like, had a full beard on. I looked homeless and stuff. He goes, he didn't recognize me. He didn't recognize his son. He's known for 40 years.
Dude. Well, here's the thing about Superman for all those that hate on the glasses thing. No one ever believes this godlike man would choose to walk among you and get a regular job.
Interesting.
You would imagine he is just up in the clouds or in a palace somewhere flying around. You would never think like you'll bump into Superman.
No one would assume Superman's best friend is Lawrence St. Victor.
Well, they're fools for that. They should know. But it's like you wouldn't like if you worked at Kinko's and Brad Pitt came in, it'd take you a second to register the fact that Brad Pitt works at Kinko's with you. Like your mind would not allow you to accept the fact that he works at Kinko's with you.
Brad Pitt can work wherever he wants, okay?
Yeah, Lawrence.
We already had this conversation. No, Rich, we had this conversation already. We had this conversation about Brad Pitt popping up wherever he wants to.
But you probably wouldn't be surprised if it was like Bill Murray or Tom Hanks.
No, not now. But like Superman, you wouldn't think that he's walking. And if anything, you'll go, yeah, Clark looks like Superman. But why? Why would Superman be an intern at the Daily Planet, live and have a live-in roommate? Like your mind would not allow you, because you would go, if I had powers, this is what I would do.
Right.
And it would not be that.
Jimmy'd always be like, man, why? That's the third time the sink's just demolished this week. What are you doing in there, man?
Yeah.
Mind your business. Don't be asking what I be doing in there. So he gets the costume. He flies pretty much to save. And she's Livewire. The villain's pretty much the origin of Livewire,
Yeah.
who is the electricity villain. We saw her pop up in animated series.
Yeah.
She goes to meet up with Slade Wilson. I kind of had an issue with Slade.
Oh, that was Slade Wilson?
That's Deathstroke, dude.
First of all, that whole dialogue there was just stupid. She was like, "Oh, how did you recognize me? Because you're wearing freaking combat gear in the middle of a cafe. Like, how wouldn't anyone recognize you as being out of place? Like, what are we
That
talking
is very anime, though, Rich.
about? I hate it.
It is.
I hate
It
it.
is.
I hate it.
I mean, I just imagine Slade being older than everyone else. If you talk about
was
age,
older. Yeah,
he's supposed to
older.
be, yeah. Or maybe he's actually the same age as Superman in the comics, and we're just catching Superman at a younger age.
Hold on.
Hmm.
Let's see something. Keep
He's
talking.
probably around the age. Slade is probably around the age of Batman and Superman. It's just that we're catching the 25. So this is the origin story for Deathstroke and Livewire. It looks like, and pretty much, she has this stuff. He wants it. She put up explosives everywhere. She's like, I told you to come alone, because guess who shows up? Freaking Lois and Jimmy show up, and the Superman shows up out of the sewer because let's follow these explosives and see where they go. Yeah. And they're like, holy crap, we got to get out of here. So basically, she's ready to blow this whole place up because she thinks she's been ambushed. She hasn't. Superman comes in, starts fighting her because she has this freaking suit on, which starts to overtake her. And Superman at this point is still stronger than he was in the first fight. So it's like he doesn't just level up for a second. Like, he keeps some of it. He's stronger than he was before. He's fighting her. He levels up again, gets the vision that looks like Darkseid is coming or something. And he's there in all his glory. Lois looks at him, and you're not going to notice Clark when you can't take your eyes off that ass.
Hey, yo.
Saves the day. She pretty much is knocked out. Turn around, she's gone. She ninja vanishes. And yeah. And then we get this really cute scene between Lois and Clark. I love everything about their relationship. I love everything about this writing. Because we've gotten the Margot Kidder, Christopher Reeve, like, you get out of my way, you're a nuisance. We got the Lois and Clark love-hate relationship. I didn't want to see that again. We've already gotten oh, Clark, you get on my nerves. It's nice to see her, like, fighting.
Yeah,
because he's a handsome dude.
Well, she said he's big and gorgeous.
And nerd today doesn't mean the same thing as it meant in the 80s.
That's right.
That's true.
So you kind of have to adapt it.
The revenge of
the nerds. Oh, my dad! I watched that way too much as a kid. I think my dad thought it was a fun little comedy, not this raunchy porkies thing.
They like Smell-O-Vision. That one.
Smell-O-Vision.
Stickers. Remember that? You go to 7.
I remember that.
Trading
card. I did not.
When you're watching the movie, smelling.
Wait, you scratched a Revenge of the Nerds card while you watched the? What could you have been smelling?
It was like someone vomited and it'd be like, smell the card, and so you'd scratch to smell what they smell. It was like, or someone was whatever it was. You didn't do that? Yeah, it was like an interactive TV event.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't. It was kind of lame on the website, but the idea was cool. It's kind of like
I just took a dump on myself. Interactive event time.
Scratch card number 2.
That's doodoo, baby.
Doo-doo.
Yeah.
And then it's not a post credit, but the last scene is Livewire, or Leslie, I think her name is trapped to a bed. Slade's obviously there. He's torturing her.
Hey.
And what was the last line?
It was Amanda Waller. You see Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller's back there. They mentioned Task Force X. They mentioned some other things. So we're getting an idea that there's a bigger world. I thought we were going to reveal Lex Luthor. So we're going to get that revealed, but not yet. Mm-hmm. If you guys can tell, I love this series. I think it's charming, delightful. It's not Superman the Animated Series. It's not that mature. It's sophisticated in its own way. It is a hybrid of anime. So if you're a pure anime lover, you might be like, what is this? If you don't like anime at all, you might be like, what is this? But if you're like me, a casual anime watcher, it does the job. And as a Superman fan, Rich, this is what I want James Gunn to make his
I was-
movie like.
You know why
Yeah,
I
it looks
agree
like
with that?
All-Star Superman.
Love it. I guess.
Right. But what's so good about this content is it's 100% Superman, but it's based around Clark Kent.
Which it needs to be. Every
And that's-
Superman
that-
joint needs to be. Clark is not roaming around, destroying trucks, lost and soulless, trying to find his way. No.
Right?
He's
Oh, yeah,
getting
he-
on
he-
with his life. He has a
repaired.
friends.
He repaired the city when he finished everything. Right?
Yeah, he did clean up.
Oh, good point, Rich. I forgot that. After his fight, he literally goes and puts like everything back. He puts the trucks back on the road. He repairs the sign, and it's like that, as corny as you want to call it, that is Superman.
Right.
He's like, I got to clean up the mess now. That's Superman.
Can't help but be good.
That is Superman.
Yeah.
And the second he starts to feel down, he automatically gets a pick me up because he loves people so much. He loves his friends. He loves humanity so much. He can't stay down too long because there's a little girl who has a cat stuck in the tree. And it feels good to get that cat. He doesn't save people, and it doesn't feel good.
It does feel good to get that cat.
Wow. And on that note, let's rank this thing.
Let's rank this thing. Yo.
Are we ranking it yet? Or are we just saying whether? Because
yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Well, I'm definitely. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we could rank this only because it is a strong part 1 and 2. Like, we finished the conclusion of the beginning of this series. Like, this played like a mini movie. But if you don't want to rank it, I understand.
I mean, I'll say this: 100% coming back. I mean, that's such an easy answer.
Yeah.
I'm coming back like wave caps and A-tracks, man.
Hated that.
Wow.
If I didn't have nothing else to watch, yeah, I'll probably watch it, put it on in the background.
Those secret invasions, this Rich. Those secret invasions.
I haven't watched episode 3 of the Secret Invasion. Right? Is there 3 episodes now?
Yeah, I haven't watched episode 2. To be fair,
it's boring.
It is.
It really is boring.
This wasn't boring. You might dislike it. You might think some things are corny, but were you bored watching this, Rich?
It was mildly entertaining.
See, and that's the key. We talk about this content, and the cardinal sin for this content always is you can't be boring. You can be a little bit corny. You could not follow the source material. You can do this, you can do that. But once you cross the territory of boring, you've lost me forever. Batman Doom That Came to Gotham. But
I still haven't finished that.
Right? How come you haven't finished it, Lars? Because it's boring. That's why. But this is not perfect, but it's fun. It's lighthearted. It's appropriate for Superman, and I'm definitely 100% coming back. And it's not boring. It's fun.
It's got greenlit for his second season already, I believe, too. It's got that order.
2 out of 3 brothers and some milk are coming back for this content.
I'm definitely coming back to.
Yeah.
My biggest issue is this doesn't feel the kind of content you drop at midnight on Adult Swim.
Right?
No, it does. It's on Adult Swim.
It comes out on Adult Swim first, and the next day on Max. But
because this is children's content. Like this is it's like age appropriate content.
Very age appropriate.
I watched Batman the Doom That Came to Gotham.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't terrible.
It's what are they going for that? I forgot the style.
It's like Gotham by Gaslight.
H.P. Lovecraft type stuff. I kind of like H.P. Lovecraft.
I mean, Gotham by Gaslight was good.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't that blaxploitation Batman animated movie.
Blaxploitation Batman was better than Doom That Came to Gotham. That was better.
I am not surprised that you said that, but okay.
Blaxploitation Batman.
100% tracks.
Well done. Yeah. So I guess three of us will come back to it, like Jack said, and one of us might play it in the background.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. First, like and subscribe this video, and in the comments section, let us know if you're coming back to this. What are your thoughts about it? Were too many liberties taken? Were not enough liberties taken? Do you find Superman a boring character, or do you find him charming and delightful? We would like to know. But we're done. We got some stuff on social media. Hit us up on TikTok, Instagram. We got a podcast. Check that out too. We talk geek in long form there. Put us on while you're working out. And we'll be back. Same super time.
Wait. Oh, wait. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. It's been a
Dang
long
it,
day.
Chris.
I'm sorry.
What just
Dang
happened
it,
there?
Chris. He thought, for those watching this on YouTube, 'cause I'm not cutting any of this out. On our podcast after this portion, we do a wonderful recommendations list. So hit up our podcast to find out Chris's recommendations or whack-commendations. He got really excited, Rich. When the St. Victor gets excited, you can't stop him.
Can't stop it.
Can't stop it.
That
Victimness.
sounds like a case. Like,
Hey. But we'll be back. Same super time.
Same super channel.
Peace. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. We're talking